The NFL is supposed to be the pinnacle of competition in American sports. Its games have some of the most eyeballs locked in on it and the most dollars exchanged over it. So it's rather important that the league and its teams maintain their integrity. This topic has been brought more to the forefront in recent months with the increasing number of states legalizing online sports betting, as well as some of the most recent accusations being thrown around the NFL. Let's take a look back at 10 times that someone was accused of throwing a game. I think a natural place to start here is with one of the most hotly discussed topics these days, the accusations swirling around the Dolphins facility down in South Beach with the ousting of Brian Flores as head coach and his subsequent complaints, if you will. While there is some degree of he said, she said at play here, the accusations made by Flores are pretty damning. The former Dolphins head coach alleges that Dolphins owner Stephen Ross attempted to incentivize him to lose multiple games on purpose shortly after hiring him in 2019. The offer was simple. For every loss the Dolphins had, Ross would pay Flores $100 grand. And to make matters worse, it has been reported that Ross was actually mad following the on-field success that Flores' young Dolphins team had down the stretch of the season because he felt that winning what were essentially meaningless games was compromising the team's draft position. What Ross clearly overlooked was that these games were not meaningless, not to Flores and some of the players on that roster that were fighting for their NFL careers. This, along with a flurry of other ethical disagreements, has since cost Flores his job down in Miami, despite helping the Dolphins to their first back-to-back winning season since 2013. And when you factor in Ross's investment in the Action Network, a sports gambling company, well, the whole situation gets a hell of a lot sketchier. In the time since Flores made his allegations, Hugh Jackson has also come out of the woodworks and made comments, first on Twitter, responding to a tweet saying that Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam was happy while we kept losing, saying, "Trust me, it was a good number." After the ensuing media firestorm, Jackson went on CNN and clarified his comments, explaining that he was never directly paid to lose games, that he believes evidence that the team ownership and executives intended to lose games during the 2016 and 17 season will come to light at the right time. Jackson, whose story has admittedly evolved into a couple of different iterations at this point, then went on to tell SportsCenter that bonus money was available if certain metrics around the aggregate rankings, lack of tenure on the team, and stockpiling draft picks were met. He continued to say the following: "Teams that win it are just not the youngest team, not that the youngest teams can't win. So I didn't understand the process. I didn't understand what the plan was. I asked for clarity because it did not talk about winning and losing until year 3 and 4. So that told you right there that something wasn't correct, but I still couldn't understand it until I had the team that I had. And I remember very candidly saying to Jimmy, I'm not interested in bonus money because I've never known that to be a bonus. I was interested in taking whatever that money was and putting it toward getting more players on our football team because I didn't think we were very talented at all." Certainly serious accusations which, like Flores, will eventually have their legitimacy unveiled as time unfolds. Not all the accusations we have seen over the years have been this black and white, but others have centered around execs or coaches wanting to tank for better draft picks, like the rumors that leaked out when the Jets inexplicably blitzed against a late-game Hail Mary attempt by the Raiders in 2020. New York was up 28-24 with just 13 seconds left, and then decided to leave Henry Ruggs, the Raiders' fastest wide receiver, alone in one-on-one coverage with undrafted rookie defensive back Lamar Jackson on him.
Jets coming. Carr puts some air under it. Wide open is Ruggs for the touchdown.
I mean, seriously, who blitzes 8 people and leaves no help over the top in a situation like that? It made no sense unless New York, which was wrestling with a couple of other basement dwellers for the coveted #1 selection that likely bring Trevor Lawrence to town, had nefarious intentions. I don't know about you, but that looks suspect as hell to me. And the numbers back it up. They were the only team to send 8+ pass rushers in the last 30 seconds of a game that entire season. Just defensive coordinator Greg Williams tried to cover his tracks, explaining that he thought pressuring Carr on the last play could be the ticket to losing out the win. But that seems rather unlikely considering the circumstances. And the internet was quick to pile on with the accusations of tanking. This was not too dissimilar to what we saw play out towards the end of the 2011 NFL season, when there was another generational quarterbacking prospect slotted to go first overall during the next year's draft. After the years of stability at the quarterback position, the Indianapolis Colts were very much a franchise in flux, with question marks surrounding the health and future of Peyton Manning. They started off the season 0-13, looking to be a shoo-in for the #1 pick, and subsequently Andrew Luck. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, Indy won 2 straight games and found themselves matched up with Jacksonville in the final game of the season, with their once locked-in draft position now very much at risk. Now, I don't know if this should be chalked up to general incompetence or a more choreographed tanking effort, but the Colts were abysmal against a Jaguars side that wasn't exactly filled with world beaters that season either. The Colts averaged well under 3 yards a carry on the ground, and Dan Orlovsky wasn't much help under center, throwing for just 264 yards on 40 attempts, surrendering 2 picks along the way. And because that loss helped them narrowly edge out the 2-14 St. Louis Rams for that first overall selection, people were quick to assume that Indy was willing to do whatever it took to lose that game. Kind of what Sean Payton accused the Tampa Bay Bucks of doing Week 17 of the 2014 season, to finish the year 2-14 and lock down the top draft slot that eventually turned into Jameis Winston. His comments came after New Orleans signed Winston as a free agent. Payton contextualized his excitement to work with Winston by saying that he thought Tampa Bay had forced Lovie Smith to blow the game against the Saints on purpose so the Bucks could draft him. And to be honest with you, this one has some merit, because not only did Tampa Bay rest a number of their starters over the course of the game, but the team melted down in such a disastrous fashion that it really looked intentional. With Tampa Bay up 20-14 and just 5 minutes and 33 seconds left, the wheels came off. Tavares King, a practice squander who was called up for the game, had a pass bounce off his fingertips and subsequently intercepted. Saints QB Drew Brees then led the New Orleans offense down the field, capped off with a 36-yard touchdown that seemed effortless. And once Tampa got the ball back, the comedic errors resumed. It started the next possession with a holding penalty that canceled out a 17-yard gain, and well, it didn't get any better from there, because the drive ended with back-to-back sacks and a safety. The icing on the cake, an illegal touching on the onside kick recovery after the safety. If that doesn't sound like a choreographed way to blow a lead, I don't know what does. Tampa Bay did get some attention from folks who thought they were after Winston, but Lovie Smith did try and downplay it, explaining it in the following way. In the second half, we wanted to look at some more football players. I didn't think that's out of the realm of possibility to look at some guys. Yeah, okay, Lovie. Those remarks may have served as inspiration for Doug Peterson, the former Philadelphia Eagles head coach, who had to talk his way out of a game-throwing accusation a few years earlier. The Eagles, who entered the game with a 14-10-1 record, had a 17-14 lead against Washington in their final game of the 2020 season. But then suddenly Peterson made a highly questionable switch at the quarterback position. Philly wasn't vying for the top draft slot, but a loss would still net them an earlier pick than a victory would. What's even worse is that Philadelphia may have potentially been trying to screw over a bitter rival as well. The Giants, who needed a Washington loss to reach the postseason, were left shocked and appalled and on the outside of the playoffs looking in. Needless to say, Giants fans were pissed. And Twitter let the Eagles, Peterson in particular, have it. The Bengals pulled a similar stunt in 2009 when they forced the issue on ensuring a loss against the New York Jets so they would match up with the Jets in the wild-card round and, perhaps more importantly, keep their hated rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, out of the playoffs. Heading into Week 17, the Steelers needed either the Ravens to lose or the Jets to lose to sneak in as the number 6 seed. But people believe that after seeing the Ravens do their part to keep the Steelers out by defeating the Raiders earlier in that day, that Cincy decided a loss to the Jets was a must. New York, however, seemed to take issue with these numbers and promptly dispatched the Bengals in the wild-card game. Guess karma caught up with the Bengals there. It isn't just tanking teams that have been accused of throwing games. In fact, we have actually seen a few accusations flung around after the biggest game of the year, the Super Bowl. Perhaps most memorably, Bill Belichick, who shocked everyone by benching former Super Bowl hero Malcolm Butler during the 2018 matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles. While it may seem strange to suggest that Bill, who is as competitive as they come, would blow the game on purpose, the theory was that it tied back to the ongoing power struggle that was taking place between he, Tom Brady, and the Patriots owner, Robert Kraft. People have suggested that the future Hall of Fame head coach prioritized Brady not winning another ring over the duo winning another together after his prized prospect Jimmy Garoppolo was shipped out of town at Brady's request. This would be a crazy move, but there's no denying Bill has an ego, so just maybe. Another coach named Bill Callahan, faced similar accusations after his Raiders melted down against the Tampa Bay Bucs in the 2003 Super Bowl, following his bizarre decision to completely flip the team's game plan the Friday before the game. Apparently, even some of Callahan's players believed that he threw it as a favor for Tampa coach John Gruden, who was the previous coach of the Raiders and cleared a path for Callahan to get a coveted head coaching gig. While it is a bit far-fetched, it does make a lot more sense than completely reworking your game plan just days before the Super Bowl, especially considering Oakland really could have capitalized on its massive advantage in the trenches by leveraging the run game like it originally was set to do. And last but not least, we have Neil O'Donnell, who back in the aftermath of a heated Super Bowl 30 matchup between two blue blood franchises, the Steelers and Cowboys, was accused of intentionally blowing a chance at a Lombardi trophy. In this instance, the Steelers may have been losing, but they had all the momentum on their side until O'Donnell seemed to willingly give the game away to Dallas. There was around 4 minutes left to go. Pittsburgh was driving for the game-winning score, and O'Donnell threw an interception to Larry Brown, his second of the game, but this one looked so deliberate. There was not a single Steelers receiver even in sight. Plenty of theories have spun up about why O'Donnell might have thrown the game, and the leading one is that the mob got to him perhaps over a gambling debt. Of course, it is possible that it was just a miscommunication on the route or something like that, but quite frankly, the world may never know. Which do you think was the most egregious instance of an NFL team throwing games? Did we miss anything? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, then hit like. If you're not subscribed yet, then hit subscribe. We'd love it if you'd stick around. And until next time, tune in to TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you.